Welcome back, Pokemon Trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it is Monday, August 1st, so happy New Brunswick Day to all my fellow New Brunswickians out there. It's our provincial holiday here in Canada, or New Brunswick I should say, and it is time for another news update video thingy. So, I wake up this morning, prepared to record my Pokemon Silver episode for the day, which I've done, and I'm thinking, now it's time to start compiling the news information for the day, getting my Pokemon Shuffle information, anything I can kind of get off of the Pokemon website. And as I'm putting everything together, I suddenly see things appearing on Twitter, some new images of Pokemon. I'm like, what's going on here? It turns out a new trailer has been put up on the Pokemon channel on YouTube. There is a lot of new and amazing information, which we're going to get into later on, and I really like the fact that, finally, a trailer comes out the day of me doing a news update video thingy, so I can compile everything into one instead of having to wait till later in the week and stuff. So stay tuned for a bit of a trailer breakdown of the new information. There's so much cool stuff coming up. But, first of all, we have our usual bit of information to get through for the news update. I will mention, as per usual, I have a booster pack of Pokemon TCG that I'll be opening up and giving the code card out to a lucky viewer out there that participates in the question of the day, which I will give you as I open this towards the end of the video. So, as always, stay tuned for that. It is, if I didn't say, Primal Clash. And we're going to go over last week's question of the day, and the question was, what are your thoughts on the possibility of IV training in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon? As I mentioned in the last week's video, they've announced that there's going to be a new feature in the games called Hyper Training, and from the sounds of what they say, it sounds like you can train your Pokemon's IVs, or as I said last week, their genetics, you know, their built-in DNA sort of thing, and you can possibly max those out. I'm on the fence about it, like I don't know what I think about it and what I'm going to do with it, but anyway, I left it open to the viewers out there. And the winner of last week's Phantom Forces code card, a viewer by the name of Unknown Spike, and their answer is, my opinion about IV training, it's like a cheat and it doesn't matter what level your Pokemon is at, because that Pokemon you catch and Hyper Train will be unstoppable and will be no fun at all. So that, I just want to say, not exactly, I wouldn't agree with that, because as far as being unstoppable, of course, type effectiveness and proper strategies and movesets can still come into play. But it is going to be more challenging if you're going to be going up against players that will have hyper-trained max IV Pokemon. Definitely there's going to be a lot more challenge there. But as Unknown Spike goes on to say, the best way is that you don't hyper-train because it will be hard, but it will be much more fun. And that's kind of what I was saying too. I was using Dratini as an example, and my Dratini has pretty low IVs in general. If I go up against a hyper-trained, maxed-out IV Dratini, naturally, mine's going to be at a disadvantage because of a lower IV count and, you know, lower stats overall. But I would feel so much more accomplished if my Dratini can win against that Dratini. So I'm still thinking I might not even want to hyper train my guys because I like the added challenge and it might mean a lot more losses on my side. But I think I might have said this last week. I think a lot of the battling that I've been doing in the Wi-Fi battles, I've probably been fighting off against max IV Pokemon that people have been breeding, or maybe like, you know, whatever. So, I think I'm going to keep my guys as they are. But we'll see what happens as Sun and Moon come out, because there's so much more information. Not that it relates to hyper training, but you'll see. I just can't wait to get to the trailer part of it. Anyway, that was last week's question of the day. So congratulations to Unknown Spike for receiving the Phantom Forces code card from last week. And I just want to mention, back here, this is my pre-release box here. For those of you that might not have seen it just yet, I did have, last Wednesday, the Pokemon TCG Steam Siege pre-release video go up. I've got 11 code cards to give out to lucky viewers that participate in that question of the day in that video. So if you haven't checked that out yet, there's a link in the description, and I'm going to put a link right about here. I think I did that right. So click that link and you can go check out the pre-release footage of Steam Siege. There's a question of the day in that video, and you can have a chance to win one of these code cards, which I'm going to draw on August 3rd, so 2 days from now on Wednesday, when the set does come out and the codes will be redeemable. So feel free to participate in that. Now, what is next in the news here? I've just got the trailer on my mind. I gotta keep following this here. So there's a pre-release video. I did, as a staggered sort of bit of an upload schedule last week, get the Innova Classic online competition videos put up as well. So if you like the Wi-Fi battles that I was doing for a while there and sort of kind of trailed off as I'm doing the playthroughs, feel free to check those out. You can see how well we did or how well we didn't do in the battles, but how much fun we had along the way. I will say, Choice Scarf Kingler took me by surprise, and I was quite impressed that, first of all, I understood what was happening. Second of all, that they had a pretty cool strategy with that Pokemon. Plus, it was a shiny Kingler, so there's a lot of cool stuff in those battles. Now, in Pokemon Go news, I will say, for those of you that play Pokemon Go, you're probably aware that there has been an update recently they've dealt with the 3 footstep glitch, or we should say, dealt with, because basically they've taken out all the footsteps altogether. So the nearby section of Pokemon Go just shows you things that are around the area. You're not going to know how close you're getting to them, which is unfortunate. I've heard the reason was because the footsteps on everybody's games were like slowing down the server, and I guess it kind of makes sense because it would have to constantly keep connecting to the server, downloading the information of how far you are from the Pokemon, and adjusting the footsteps accordingly. So hopefully this is a temporary thing that they're doing right now until they can find a better way to do the footsteps, because I've been hearing from other people that say they really enjoyed kind of walking around, checking their phone and seeing the footsteps dwindle down because they know they're getting closer to the Pokemon, and I can see how that would be like an exciting thing. So I never had any issue with that because when the official release of Pokemon Go came in Canada, it was already the 3 footstep glitch, so to speak. So I wasn't experiencing the footsteps of 3, 2, 1, and then the Pokemon, so I didn't know what it was like beforehand. Therefore, I'm okay with the fact that there's no footsteps. Because from my perspective, it's the same as if there was 3 footsteps for everything. You're not going to know how close you're getting to any one particular Pokemon. But I can see how people that did experience the original footstep issue, or the footstep situation, where it would dwindle down as you get closer, I can see how having no footsteps, or the 3 footsteps, would be annoying. So hopefully that's something that they're working on fixing. I will say, however, I've found that ever since the update has occurred, the curveballs are a lot harder to deal with. Like, for example, when I'm walking around, if I'm filming myself with Pokemon Go for the videos, I've got my camera I'm using right now to hold up and kind of film myself. I've got my other phone in this hand as I'm playing the game. So I find as I'm trying to throw the ball, my thumb slides this way naturally and the ball curves off to the right. So therefore I've been spinning the opposite way and curving it so it comes back in and catches the Pokemon. With the new update, the curveball goes way off to the left now. So I've been missing so many Pokeballs on some basic Pokemon. Like there was a Nidoran last night, Nidoran female. I must have missed like 6 Pokeballs. And finally I throw it, the ball lands. But I've been also noticing ever since the update, common basic low CP Pokemon are breaking out a lot more often. And I don't know what it is. My nephew actually says he's feeling the opposite experience. His curveballs are a lot more useful, a lot more easier to control, and he's catching Pokemon easier now. So I might just be having a big long string of bad luck, but I've noticed a considerable change in capture rate and the curveball, so that's just my experience with it. And as far as Pokemon Go, I'm hoping to get to Nature Park here in town this week and record an episode for probably like a Saturday upload, I think. Because I don't currently have anything planned for any weekend uploads for the time being, so that could be a good time to upload a weekly Pokemon Go kind of thing. Hopefully I can get out to a nature park and try to capture some grass and bug-type Pokemon if they appear there for this weekend's video upload. That is all I'm going to mention for Pokemon Go. I will mention Pokemon Shuffle. There's so much news to get through before we get to the trailer. I'm so excited for that. But in Pokemon Shuffle, up until Tuesday, August 9th, now first of all, I'll say that new main stages and new special stages, main stages and expert stages, new ones have been added to the game, and there is a special shop open right now. It's only open for a limited time, and I think there's 3 rounds that it's going to be open for. You can go get some special items in the special shop and use these items in your games. And up until Tuesday, August 9th, there's a few special stages available right now. There is a Wobbuffet Try-'em Item stage. We've had these before, where you get to go in, use any item you want in the shop at no cost. You only get to use them for that one particular stage. Well, you get to try them out and see what you think of the items, and if you like the way they work, you might want to spend some coins and get those items for another stage that you play later on. There's also available as an encounter, standard encounter, the Zygarde 10% form, a little puppy dog form. You can encounter that, battle it. If you do capture it and then later battle it and defeat it on a subsequent attempt, it might drop a Zygarde 10% skill booster item, which you can pick up and use in a later battle. There's also another Pokemon Safari on the go at the moment. In this Safari, the way the Safari works is there's a number of 7 Pokemon that you might encounter. You don't know which one in particular you'll encounter until you get into it, and some are more rare to encounter than others. The 7 for this particular Safari will be Elgyem, Beheeyem, Drowsy, Hypno, Frillish Female, Jellicent Female, and Mesprit. So they're recommending you bring some Ghost and Dark types because they'll be super effective on all those Psychic or Ghost type Pokemon. And if you do capture one of these Pokemon and go back into the Safari and battle it again and defeat it, they might drop an experience booster either small or medium size. So if you can capture all the Safari Pokemon and just keep going back in there, you got a good chance of getting these experience boosting items. And in the world of video game news, now it's not officially on the website just yet, but we are into the month of August, which means the new mythical Pokemon distribution will begin, Why am I doing 1? The new mythical Pokemon distribution will begin for August, and this month is going to be Arceus, the god of the Pokemon world itself. This is going to be one of those codes that you have to get from GameStop stores in the US or in Canada will be EB Games. Go into the store and get yourself a code card. You can redeem that code in the mystery gift, get via code I believe it is, and you can download yourself an Arceus. It's going to be level 100 with, of course, the multi-type ability, which says it'll change type based on what plate it's holding. The moveset is going to be Judgment, Recover, Hyper Beam, and Perish Song. And that might be the moveset that it had when it first initially appears in the Gen 4 games. So if you want to pick up your Arceus for the Pokemon 20 celebration, that's the way to do it. Also in video game news, the next online competition that I'll be participating in has been announced, and I think they're doing it because the Pokemon Global Link will be ending soon for the current generations and preparing for Sun and Moon, so they want to get these classics out as soon as possible. Following hot on the heels of the Sinnoh Classic is the Unova Classic. This one's going to be in the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire format. It's going to be triple battles, so you got to choose all 6 of your Pokemon. And there's going to be a lot of wide range moves. I can imagine my Machamp will be pretty good because he's going to have that wide guard to protect the team. So I want to keep him in mind for sure. But it's going to be triple battles, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. You can use only the first 649 Pokemon in the Pokedex. And of course, there are restrictions on which legendaries you can bring. Mythical Pokemon will not be permitted whatsoever. No Mega Stones will be used. And the Soul Dew item will also be prohibited. So Latios are not going to gain the boost from Soul Dew. The registration period for the Unova Classic opens on Thursday, August 18th, and goes for about a week or so, and the competition for the Innova Classic begins on Friday, August 26th, going that weekend. The participation prize for the Innova Classic, which I believe you obtain by just completing 3 battles during the weekend, you get Ens Darmanitan as seen in Pokemon Black 2 and Pokemon White 2. This particular Darmanitan has the hidden ability of Zen Mode, which says if it gets under 50% of its HP, it goes into a different form in which it gains the Psychic type in addition to its Fire type. Moveset is going to be Thrash, Belly Drum, Flare Blitz, and Hammer Arm. So if you want a chance to get a rare collectible Pokemon like that, enter the Unova Classic, do your 3 battles. You will get that after the competition has ended. I haven't yet seen if Cynthia's Garchomp has been distributed for the Sinnoh Classic, but I'll find out on that for possibly next week's video. With all that being said, I think I've got through all the news. I want to check out this trailer now and talk about some of the new features and new everything coming in Sun and Moon, so let's check that out. So I'm not going to show off the full trailer, I'm just going to show you some clips here as I'm going to click through it, and as it starts off with, certain Pokemon are thriving in Alola, and what they're talking about is new forms of Pokemon. Here we see Exeggutor, however, it's going to gain an Alola form. Look at this thing, like the long, tall palm tree kind of thing. It has the new Grass Dragon type, which currently I believe only Mega Sceptile has had that, and what's interesting, it's giving us a new form of Pokemon, but it's changing their types too. Because when I saw the Exeggutor, I thought, oh, that's an interesting new design for the Grass Psychic type. But nope, it is going to be Grass Dragon. The ability is now Frisk. And you can see, like, if you watch the trailer, I will have a link in the description to that. You can check that out. I believe, did I say earlier in the video, there's a link to the trailer as well beneath me? I can't remember. Either way, there'll be links for whatever I have links to in the description. Feel free to check that out. And you can check out the trailer in action. But this kind of blows my mind. You're going to see like a few other Pokemon that are more in tune with me because of my particular collections through the through the different generations. I'm just getting so tongue-tied at all the information that we have here. So Vulpix and Ninetales are getting new forms for the Alola region. I'm not quite understanding the typing of this, but they go from Fire type to Ice type for Vulpix and Ice Fairy for Ninetales. And the ability is going to be Snow Cloak, which we don't see just yet, but in a hailstorm, they're going to have increased evasiveness in the Alola region. Now, the reason I say I don't quite understand it is why exactly are we going to a tropical region and we have Fire-type Pokemon becoming Ice types? I don't quite understand that, but I'm sure there'll be a reason for it. But as you can see through the trailer, well, first of all, look at how gorgeous Vulpix looks as an Ice-type Pokemon. I love the design. Not as big a fan of the Ninetales. Looks a little bit too, the hair is a little too stringy, I would say, and stuff like that. But anyway, it's cool that you see them using Ice-type attacks. It made me wonder, are these forms going to be something that current Pokemon can be turned into? Like, for example, say like Hoopa Confined and Hoopa Unbound, you can kind of change the forms, they can change back. Or are they going to be Pokemon that you can only capture in that form in that region? I would think you can only capture them in that region with this form, because how would you get an Ice-type attack on a Fire-type Vulpix? That wouldn't really make any sense. But
you know, Sun and Moon could be changing things up. Maybe they're going to allow us to do stuff like that. It would be really cool if we can convert from form to form, much like some of the, say, legendary Pokemon and such. But another one that kind of blows my mind, Sandshrew and Sandslash are getting new forms here as well, going from ground type to ice and steel type. Now, first of all, look at Sandshrew and how adorable that looks. It looks like it's, you know, hiding inside an igloo. In fact, if you watch the trailer, you'll see it do Ice Ball, I think it is, and it ducks down and spins around in like a little ball. It looks like a big ball igloo, which is amazing. And now I don't understand the steel typing exactly, but anyway, typing is what it is. And look at the, what would you call them? Stalagmite icicles of the Sandslash here instead of like the regular spines. So these new designs are wild and crazy, and I love them. He's about to do the roll right there. Look at Sandslash with the ice. This is so cool. So these new forms, those are the only forms that they've shown off: Exeggutor, Vulpix, Ninetales, and Sandshrew, Sandslash. But I'm sure there's going to be more to come, and it makes you wonder what more will they do and what can they do. Like, I'm sure they can do so much more. And I just, going back for a little bit, I wonder if the Execute is going to be a different type, because it's going to go from Grass Psychic to Grass Dragon if it is like just the regular Execute in this region, because they didn't show a new form for that. But that's what they have for the new forms, and more new Pokemon have been discovered as well, and there's a lot of interesting ones here. There's Ori Correo. It is one Pokemon, but it's got 4 different types, and as it says later in the video, its type changes based on the island that it's on, and we know there's 4 main islands in the Alola region. Some people have been debating that the islands might be type-themed, because Tapu Koko is an electric fairy, and I remember watching the King Nappy's videos. He was saying, what if each island has a different elemental type, like fire, electric, grass, and water? And what if each of the islands has a guardian deity, like this fairy type, Tapu Koko? What if it's like water fairy and fire fairy based on different islands? So this kind of lets you know that there are going to be different, maybe, types of islands, because they say its typing will change based on the island that it's on. The Bale style is a fire flying, Pom-Pom style is electric flying, so another Zapdos or Emolga. And Pow style, psychic flying, and the Sensu style is ghost flying. What I really like about Ori Correo, skipping forward in here, so it's going to show off, they all have different animations too, which is cool. Different models, different animations, but it's all considered one Pokemon. And skipping forward, the ability is going to be Dancer. Well, first of all, there's a new move, Revelation Dance, matches the type of the Pokemon. So whatever non-flying type it happens to have, the attack is going to be that type. Now, skipping forward into the ability Dancer, it copies everyone's dance moves. Now, it shows Masquerain go for Quiver Dance, and the Dancer ability kicks in, and Ori Correo goes for the Quiver Dance itself. I don't think that's going to use your move for the turn either. I would believe that the ability kicks in, you copy the move, get the ability, and then whatever move you chose that turn will go off then. I don't know for sure, but it would make sense that it wouldn't override the attack you chose. It would just give you that additional dance move to use for that turn. So that's going to be an interesting one. You can't really set up too many dance moves against this thing, like Swords Dance and, like for example, Quiver Dance. So Ori Correo could be a pretty interesting Pokemon with all those different types that you're not really going to be able to predict here. And there's another new Pokemon, Minior, I'm not sure, but it is a new Pokemon, a rock flying type with a new ability called Shields Down. Not quite sure what it does exactly, but you see it in action in this battle. When it takes a certain hit, it loses the rock covering of its shield. It falls apart, and a new Pokemon is revealed from within Minior's core. Now, they don't exactly say anything more about that. It still says rock flying, so although we see 4 different colors of it, are they going to have different, maybe, abilities? Well, it still says ability Shields Down. Different typing? I don't know. It still says rock flying, so we don't know what the difference of the different cores are yet, but maybe different attacks that they would have, or maybe certain resistances. I don't know exactly. But that's an interesting Pokemon we're going to see some use of some point, I'm sure. I'm curious to find more about it. Here we see, I think, not our first evolution, but I was going to say our first evolution of the Alola region. But no, we've seen Charjabug and Vikavolt. But we do see an evolution for Yungoos into Gumshoos, or Gumshoos, or whatever you want to say. The abilities are still the same, Stakeout and Strong Draw. It retains its normal typing. And we don't really see too much of it in battle. We just see some of the animations. It goes after the, what's that one called again? Beware. And 2 other grass-type Pokemon are here, Fomantis, and it evolves into Lurantis. Fomantis, Lurantis. Whenever I see moves or names like that, I see the suffix is the same of Antis, and I'm thinking, so Fom and Lure. I wonder if there's any sort of pun on that. I can't really tell if there is or not, but anyway, Fomantis with the ability Leaf Guard for Lurantis as well. And I don't know if it shows anything in particular for these things. No, it uses a new move called Solar Blade, I believe it is, right there. Don't know what it does yet exactly, but I would assume Solar Beam. Maybe it's a physical type attack, but it seems to be like energy, so it's probably special based. And we see a pre-evolution for Mudsdale is going to be Mudbray, also ground type. So we see that we do have an evolution into Mudsdale. Has the same abilities, I believe. Did Mudsdale have that? I know Mudsdale had stamina. I can't recall if it had own tempo as well. But either way, Mudbray has own tempo and stamina possible abilities. And we get to call on the services of Ride Pokemon once again. Here we see a trainer riding on a Mudsdale. There's a Tauros in the corner as well. And what is it riding? That's a Mudsdale in the video. And they get to show us surfing on a water type and flying on a Charizard. Now, I hope they bring back the flying around like in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire when you're on Latios. And if you can actually fly on whatever flying type Pokemon you have and it shows it, even if it's a Pidgey, that would be really cool. You get to sort of like, it'll be almost customizing your traveling around the region, which would be a nice little detail, but they're putting a lot of nice little details into this from the looks of it. So that could be a thing. Now, this is something new gameplay-wise, or story-wise, I would say. The Island Challenge is your rite of passage. Kukui here says you'll travel to each of the 4 islands here in the Alola region. And from the sounds of it, it's basically you have to go through a series of, like, say, battles or go through a maze or something like that. And you're going to come out at the end and deal with one of these trial captains. They're going to help you along the way. They tell you the specialties. Mallow here with grass type. Lana has water type. And where are we? Sophocles has the electric type, and the final Pokemon, trial captain is going to be Kiawe with fire type. So grass, water, yeah, so like the 4 basic elemental types, grass, water, electric, and fire. And I'm not quite sure what happens, but it says powerful totem Pokemon await at the end of each trial. My first thought was, is this going to be Tapu Koko? Because it looks like its shielded arms things looks like a piece of like a totem pole head or something. But no, it's apparently something different. We see here the Gumshoos is a totem, and I don't know exactly what happens here, but it gains some sort of a boost. Totem Gumshoos Aura flared to life. Its defense rose. So it's like they're giving a power up to almost maybe say a standard Pokemon that is taking the place as a totem, and it's going to be harder to deal with. But it also summons in a minion of its own. Totem Pokemon can call for help. It calls in a Yungoos for the battle. And it looks like it's going to be a 2-on-1 battle. So almost like Jesse and James back in Viridian Forest against Ash. Regardless, it's going to be interesting to see what these island challenges are all about. Clear each island's trial and battle the kahunas. Now, more information has been revealed. So this is one of the kahunas. Hala, the kahuna of Melee Island. He might summon in Tapu Koko. Because we saw, I think, in footage or pictures, he has some sort of a connection to that island deity. But we're going to see a new thing here called Z moves. So people were upset that we had X and Y, but we didn't get a Pokemon Z. This, given the fact that they're giving us the different Zygarde forms in this, and now there's a new thing called Z moves, this might be our sort of, what would you call it? Supplement to Pokemon Z in the Sun and Moon games. So this is a new way to attack. You see, like, if you watch the trailer, you'll see all this, all these flashy dance moves, and the guy's doing all this stuff. And it says Pikachu surrounded itself with its Z power, and it lets it use a new move. Pikachu unleashes its full force Z power, Gigavolt Havoc. That sounds like something from the TCG, but it is here in the video game. And what they say is, unleash a Z move once per battle. It's going to be an amazingly powerful move, I'm sure. You have to watch the trailer and see the footage in action, especially when Popplio uses its Z move. I forget what it's called, but I'm just going to scroll through them. There's Bloom Doom for Rowlet, and Inferno Overdrive for Litten, and the water type attack. What do you got there, Popplio? I can't even see the name of it, but just you got to watch these things. It's kind of crazy what these attacks do. But that is all we have for the trailer. I want to scroll back to what I'm most interested in, the new forms of Pokemon. Like, look at that. That's a perfect scene to keep on right there. So, Ice and Steel type Sandshrew, Sandslash. We have a Fire and then Fire Fairy type for Vulpix, Ninetales. Exeggutor becomes a Grass Dragon. What other types are they going to give us? And, although, okay, we see snowy mountains in the background of the scene here, so that might explain why we have some Ice type new forms. I really hope they're going to allow us to switch forms from the say, the standard region to the Alola region, and then back again, just to sort of mix things up a bit, because it'll be really cool using the Pokemon that I've been training all this time. What if I can bring them into Wi-Fi battles and mix up their type beforehand? Rocky the Sandslash has always been a ground type. I can switch him into an Ice and Steel type, possibly. I don't know. You know, that's going to be really weak to fire. And fighting. I think that might be it. But anyway, it's going to be cool to see what new forms there are for other Pokemon. I wonder if they're going to bring us the new form for Butterfree, which we saw back in the anime when Ash went to the Orange Islands, because we did see like a tropical pattern on the Butterfree's wings. What if they finally give us that pattern in this? And I've always said that before, like Vivian was one of those Pokemon that, based on the region that you play the game in, its wing patterns changed. They should have been doing stuff like that all along. For like in the Kalos region, maybe Butterfree has different patterns on its wings. They've said in some Pokedex entries that Arbok's neck patterns have a different pattern based on their region, but we've never seen them any different. So it would be neat if, since the games do record what region Pokemon come from, like if I, for example, look at my Arbok's data, it says crossed space and time to arrive here from the Kanto region, if it would have Kanto markings as opposed to, say, Johto markings or something like that. Anyway, that's all speculation and, you know, what if sort of thing. But this is the information for the trailer. Again, click the link in the description if you want to check this out in its full, you know, full motion glory. And that Vulpix, I just got to look at that Vulpix one more time. First, oh, hang on, let's get that. Show the Sandshrew. Oh, never mind. But there's so many cool designs, these new forms. I want to see that Vulpix. Look at this. Look how gorgeous that looks, though. Like the billowy ice flows and everything. Anyway, that's enough about the trailer. Link is in the description. Let's get back to the remainder of the news update.
So with all that out of the way, we're now going to open up our Primal Clash booster pack of Pokemon TCG. But first, I will give you the question of the day for this week for your chance to win that code card. Question of the day. We just saw a lot of cool stuff from the Pokemon Sun and Moon, the new trailer. We've been getting a lot of cool information all along the way leading up to the release in November. My question for you today is, what are you most excited for in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon? There is so many things. There's like the new battle feature of Battle Royal. There is just the new Pokemon that are being introduced, new typings, new abilities. There's so much cool stuff coming in Sun and Moon, and every time we get a new trailer, I get more and more excited for playing these games, especially since it seems like they're allowing us more readily to bring our older Pokemon in. Anyway, so for your chance to win the code card, answer that question of the day, use the hashtag of QOTD in that comment to go into the running on Sunday, August 7th, I believe it is. I will be drawing drawing one name of all the people that use the hashtag with their answer in the comments to win the code card of Primal Clash. So, as for me, what I'm most excited about, I think probably seeing what new forms they're going to give us. Now, if you would ask me this question, or if I would ask myself this question even yesterday, I would have a different response, I'm sure, but at this point I can't think of what that response would have been. Because seeing the Ice-type Vulpix and the new Igloo form of Sandshrew, I want to see what new forms are going to give us. I'm also excited to see if there are going to be Mega Evolutions, of course. We haven't seen anything about Megas yet. I'm hoping that we're still going to have some of those, but in the interim, new forms of classic Pokemon, I think has got me the most hyped at the moment. So I think that's what I'm most excited for at the moment. Whatever you're most excited for, leave that in a comment below. Hashtag QOTD to get a chance to win the code card on August 7th. I want to see what cards I got in this pack right now, so let's tear this open and begin. So preparing to open up the Primal Clash with a nice backdrop of the mythical Pokemon collection of Shaman for the month of July. Plus I have the Venusaur EX Red and Blue collection, which I always forget to mention up until now, but I'm holding on to the Shaman Mythical Collection up until we hit 800 subscribers here on the channel before the next one comes out, which probably is going to be pretty soon. But we're currently at about 770 just about on the channel. If we do hit 800 before the Arceus set comes out, I'll be opening this in a video online and giving the code card out to a viewer, much like I'm going to do with the Primal Clash booster pack here. So, if you're currently not subscribed to the channel, feel free to do so. We're going to boost our subscriber numbers and possibly get the Shaman code given out before Arceus is released in stores. And as for Venusaur EX, if we can break 1,000 subscribers, my plan is to do the same kind of thing, open this in a video, give the code card out to a viewer, but I also want to buy another collection box of the most recent EX set and do a physical mail-out copy of the box itself to another viewer as a thanks for hitting 1,000 subscribers and all the support you guys are giving me on the channel. With that being said, let's open up the Primal Clash pack right now, carefully cut the top off, snag that code card, and sneak it to the side until August 7th, which is this coming Sunday, for your chance to win that for the online game. As for the physical game, let's see what cards I've happened to pull today. starting with the commons of, first of all, let's make sure we're nice and focused here. We start off with a Spheal, a Vulpix. Look at that! Look, it's not even Ice type yet. It's so cute. We have a Trapinch, Horsey, and a Corphish. The uncommon cards are going to start with a Shield Energy, very nice, increasing defense by 10 damage basically to a metal type you attach that to. We have a Grovyle. There is a Gardevoir Spirit Link. There's a lot of these lately, especially in the new set with Steam Siege where the new Mega Gardevoir is included. Reverse foil card is going to be Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. I don't think I have that in a reverse foil yet, so that's cool to get. Rare card is going to be an ancient trait, Excadrill. Omega Barrage. This Pokemon may attack twice. If the first attack knocks out the opponent's active Pokemon, you can attack again after they replace it. So Dredge, search your deck for 2 energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon and shuffle your deck afterward. That could power up the Mach Claw, which does 50. The attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. So you could of course go for a Mega Barrage and attack twice with Mach Claw, 50 each. Put a Muscle Band on there, you're going to do a lot more damage. Anyway, that is very cool. So nice, not even ability, nice ancient trait to have gotten. And as I said before, for your chance to win the code card for the Primal Clash Booster Pack, just answer that question in time for Sunday, August 7th. What are you most excited for in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon? And I realize it's kind of maybe counterproductive to ask a video game question in a TCG pack opening, but all you gotta do is let me know one thing that you're excited about for Pokemon Sun and Moon. And even if you don't play the games, if you just want to win the code card. Whatever you think is the most exciting information that's been revealed thus far. So as I say, leave that in a comment with the hashtag QOTD somewhere in your comment, and on Sunday, August 7th, everyone that has answered the question thusly, I suppose, goes into the running, and one name will be drawn for this code card to be given out on Sunday. So with all that being said, I want to say thank you everybody for checking out the video today, and I hope you're as excited for all this new Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon information that they've given us. I want to see new forms. There's so much going on with this new game, these new games I should say. I can't wait to see what other stuff they reveal for us. But anyway, I'm going to end off the video. I got some editing to do to get this up for you guys to check out on time. I want to say once again, thank you for checking out the news update video, and I'll catch you next time.